And due to unexpected last-minute regulatory changes, we've now reached stage 3. Stage 3! Also known as our cruising altitude.
Cruising altitude!
We invite all guests to safely, freely but safely move about the cabin, the tent.
First course will be served momentarily. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy your old-fashioned in-flight entertainment, also known as talking to the people seated next to you. Until food should be around on most tables. That's it from the cockpit for now. 10-4, 10-4, 9er, over and out.
Roger, roger.
No dancing! $500!
Cause I don't remember living life before this. And I believe it's the same one as you. On the way that faded me before it.
Hello. All right, guys. So, quick question for you. How was that beer? Who had the chance to try it? How was that beer? Yeah, you better have liked it. If anyone has any comments, now's the time. Now's the time to air those. Sorry, I'm being told into the light.
There we go.
Hello. Okay, we're back. So another comment I want to make is so there was earlier in the cocktail hour there was sort of like an appetizer salad circulating. It was a watermelon with some feta, and I don't know if any of you guys got to try that. But those that didn't, I know it was going through your head. You saw that salad and you went, you know what? No, I'm gonna save the vegetation portion of my appetite for later in the meal. Only to be absolutely crushed by this arugula salad. No, like this is. I'm not gonna let this go. You have the option: watermelon, feta. You have the option to go for watermelon, feta, summery elements, and you said no, and this is what you got. Toby, are you okay with this?
I actually haven't tried it yet. I'm excited for the bitterness of it to complement the beer, but I thought we were gonna have more summery elements. I wish I'd doubled down on the watermelon feta, but there's time for that later. Sort of those summery elements aside, though. Hold on, I have to get rid of the salad.
Yeah, okay.
Summary elements of the lettuce aside, if anyone does have any gripes for the rest of the evening, Ben's your guy. So food gripes, beer gripes,
We'll be over
alcohol
here.
gripes. Seated at this table here, drop on by. Any comments about really anything, Ben's your man. He's happy to take them, and we'll voice them post the main course. So if they're about the main course too, Ben's your guy there. In terms of hearing from some other folks that know our bride and groom pretty well, we're going to hear from our first group of speakers. First up is going to be Leslie, who spent about 5 minutes determining if she wanted to go first or second. So I encourage you to give her a warm welcome, and she's coming up first, and then we'll be joined afterwards by Phil's best man, Seb. So a warm round of applause for Leslie.
Born on the same day as Maya in Toronto, but I have known Maya a long time. And if it wasn't evident by how long it took me to decide if I should go first or second, first maid of honor speech. So gonna need some training wheels on this. So there's a bit of a guide. One finger, just laugh, even if it's not funny. Oh. And 2 fingers, a really sweet aww. Okay. So I think everyone here knows how incredible Maya is. I can tell you first. Why is this happening? Can you still hear me? Is it cutting out? Yes. Okay. I can tell you firsthand that her warm and patient nature has
DJ's gonna help you.
Okay. Technical difficulties, 1 second.
Like a Zoom call.
This has been my experience for most of this year, yeah.
You're doing a great job.
Okay.
How many fingers?
Sorry, this is a 3 is a sad a self-pity
We can hear you. I know. I see.
Do you want me to? Oh.
DJ, are you doing
Hang on.
something?
No, you're good. Keep talking.
What about?
Try the wired one.
Okay.
This mic.
Yeah. Hello?
Is it on?
Hello?
Keep talking.
Test.
Keep talking.
Oh, we're getting it.
I can launch into like a presentation. Okay. All right. I was about to start a work presentation, so I'm glad it works. Okay, so What I was starting with was how great and caring and patient Maya is. So growing up, there were many a sleepover at Maya's house, and I unfortunately was the worst sleepover guest of all time.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah.
And I would frequently wake up not only Maya, but also Gary and Jackie in the middle of the night in search of warm milk, book lights, and snacks. It takes a very good friend and family to not only put up with that behavior, but to continue to invite me back many times over the years. So I'd like to take this as a formal apology to the Steins for all of the sleepless nights.
How about the bloody noses?
And I wasn't going to mention that, but I also had very bad nosebleeds.
Thanks, Jackie.
Yeah, thank you.
I couldn't let it go.
So Maya was truly an incredible friend then and continues to be a rock for me and for everyone else who knows and loves her, especially Phil. Maya and Phil have been together for 12 years. It's a long time. They have made it through high school romance, complete with a Pokemon necklace on Phil's part. I think that was in high school. Long distance in university, and multiple near and far moves. They are truly as solid as it gets. While planning Maya's bachelorette and birthday weekend in June, I asked Phil for Maya's favorite birthday cake. Without hesitation, he told me that Dairy Queen ice cream cake is her favorite. After picking up a frozen cake and hauling it to Niagara-on-the-Lake, and after some margaritas and honesty on Maya's part, it turns out that not only does she not like ice cream cake, she hasn't had it since she was a child. So I guess there are maybe a few chinks in the armor. Thankfully, he made up for it with some really bang-on answers about how their next car is a Subaru, now that they're a Subaru family. I think it's safe to say Maya and Phil complement each other perfectly. Phil is a mix of brain and brawn. Varsity volleyball player and writer, but most notably a living, breathing encyclopedia. Ask Phil the history of any country and he will tell you from the start. He is always learning, always tinkering, and always leaving a landmine of empty yogurt containers in the fridge. To Maya, Phil is an adventure. To Phil, Maya is home. Maya is easygoing, confident, and caring. She's a social butterfly, a theater nerd, and an outstanding cook. She is a cozy blanket on a stormy day. To clarify, she's not a wet blanket. Maya knows how to have a good time. We see her loving nature every day in her OT work and in the enormous heart she has for her friends and family. When Phil's mind is exploding, Maya's is keeping them on course and grounded. I won't keep you much longer. In the words of one of Maya and Phil's favorite songs by the Cranberries, do you have to let it linger? So I won't here. To quote another one of their favorites by Jason Derulo, everyone is looking for love. Let's show them some love tonight as we celebrate the next chapter of their love. Cheers to Maya and Phil. And next is Seb. Best man.
All right.
Well, thank you so much, Leslie, for getting the tech portion out of the way for me. Big load off my mind. My dear friends, cherished family, honored guests, Nat. Thank you all for being here and to witness this magical moment between these two incredible individuals. For those of you that I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, my name is Seb, and Phil has been my best friend for 22 years. Right? Thank you. Over that time, I've had the privilege of watching him grow from a gawky little weirdo to the self-assured hunk that you see before you today. And through all that transformation, one characteristic has remained constant to his core, and that's his curiosity. Not to be confused with his curiousness. We became friends in grade 2 at Franco Jeunesse. We bonded over our shared love of Pokemon. So big shout out to Satoshi Tajiri for being our unwitting matchmaker. More than that, what kid didn't love Pokemon at that time? As we parlayed this into playdates, I started to notice that there was something different about Phil. He always looked at the world with more depth than all the other kids, and he had an unquenchable thirst for knowledge. It was around that time that we started talking about the nature of God and reality. While the other kids were content to debate the supremacy of Pikachu over Charizard by a landslide, by the way, who are we kidding? We were spontaneously asking each other questions I would later encounter in my Intro to Philosophy course. We were 8, and that's when I knew I found a kindred spirit. We'd spend hours in the park after school and on weekends trying to wrap our heads around the universe and its structure and what our place in it might be. And from that existentialist foundation, I believe we can all see how much Phil puts so much thought into every decision that he makes. By grade 4, Phil had made a point of memorizing every single capital city in the world. He studied history. He devoured volumes of the Guinness Book of World Records and Ripley's Believe It or Not. I was always so impressed not only by the depth of Phil's knowledge, but by its ever-expanding scope. Again, we were 10. It was at this point that I changed schools, but this inconvenience only made us want to spend more time together. Our weekend sleepovers became an institution, and I owe Blair and Denise a great debt of gratitude for the hospitality that they've offered in what became my home away from home. It was there, together, that we started soaking up the classics. Monty Python, The Breakfast Club, Forrest Gump, Pulp Fiction. And true to form, when the credits rolled, Phil would always provide an entirely unique insight of the movie we just watched. To Phil, subtext is just text. He's always approached the world with originality and creativity, which brings me to my next point. Flash forward to middle school, when all the boys suddenly became very interested in measuring a certain body part. Now, I firmly believe that Phil is the only person in the history of puberty to have done this in cubic centimeters. Just to show the depth of his thought. As we entered high school, our curiosity led us down very different paths. Phil was curious about how far he could get as a competitive athlete. I was curious how many magic mushrooms were too many magic mushrooms. Turns out it's 6.5 grams, don't try it. But our contrasting lifestyles never affected our bond, which was built on a profound understanding of one another, unknowable to anyone else. Phil became a Renaissance man. He'd already read most of the curriculum. Not only was he making a name for himself in the realm of volleyball, but he began his journey into creative writing. You know, that classic stereotype of the jock poet? But Phil also pursued an interest in drama. And through drama, he found another interest. Maya. I'd be remiss if I didn't say a few words about the bride. Maya, when you showed up into the picture, it was like you'd always been there. I remember we always used to say you were like the little sister that I never had. And if I keep harping on the fact that Phil's defining trait is his curiosity, yours is your empathy. I think coming from a theater background, you were always interested in understanding a character's motivations, their inner world. And I think it's that sensibility that's led you to I think it's that sensibility that's naturally led you to the selfless work that you perform today as an occupational therapist. Maya, I love you, and I thank you for being the only other person that sees the Phil that I get to see. As graduation came and went, it was time for my best friend to leave for university. I stayed behind to do a victory lap at Glebe, and this gave Maya and I a chance to commiserate over how much we missed him. I remember, this isn't in the speech, but I just remember that while Phil was gone, when you were really missing him, you would always ask me for a hug because we wore the same deodorant. Meanwhile, Phil and I stayed in touch over Skype calls, often led by an exchange of big, open-ended questions. Never satisfied with mere knowledge, Phil always had to ask about ideas. The situation may have changed, but our calls had the same sense of wonder as when we were those little boys in the park. From Ottawa to London to Guelph to Oakland, and now to Toronto, we've never stopped asking each other questions. And I have to say one of my favorite ones so far has been, will you be my best man? So a toast to this inspiring couple. May you nurture each other as you always have with love, understanding, and patience. Maya, I know that you're going to offer the empathy, the humor, and the selflessness that is inextricable from your nature. And Phil, whether it be volleyball, poetry, playwriting, prose, programming, blogging, journalism, or web development, find a resume. You've always found a way for your originality, your integrity, and your ingenuity to shine through. I have no doubt that you'll extend this into your new role as a husband, and I am just so excited to see what you're going to be curious about next. Mazel tov.
Having a good time, having a good time. To the sky, like a
It's so funny. We're good.
Adapter and put it here.
That's all right. No, it's not put on the fix. I have to, yeah. Good. So hi there, folks. Across the continent, it's Gary here. Hope you're still watching. Sorry, I think I screwed up the sound there for a while. I just noticed the light was off on the mic, but it's fixed. You could always send me a text if there's a problem with the sound or something. 613-816-2425, and I will do my best to keep the mic and the camera focused on the speakers and on Maya and Phil. Hope you're enjoying it. We're very sorry that you can't be here, but we're having a great time, and we hope that you are enjoying it too. Sustainable farming. Let's
Just like me, all of the walls are change. I done all I can, stand on the steps, my heart in my hand. Now I'm starting to see, got nothing to do.
I know about that.
had those comments 2.5 months ago. Like, really? You're saying, like, Hopefully you made some best sitting on cash. That also was expecting this thing. They're there.
Hi, Bonnie.
A shout out to Rochelle and Anne.
Oh, is that the mic?
This is the mic.
Oh, hi, Bonnie. Hi, Rochelle.
Toby and Ben are about to come back on, so prepare yourselves.
Cinnamon bun. Cinnamon bun. Cinnamon bun.
It was working. I swear it was working.
Oh, I also just like the back. Chilling. Really good. Gets pulled down.
Very cool. Oh, volume.
1, 2, 2. Macaroni and cheese. Yep. Yep. I think we're good. Yes. Check. Check 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, check, check. Check 1. 1. Echo, Bravo. Bravo, Foxtrot. We're good. Good. Yep. So how about airline food, am I right?
It's good with a little bit of sauce.
Okay. Where's music?
If folks don't mind returning to their seats, please. Folks outside the tent, if you don't mind coming back in.
Colleagues, esteemed guests.
Folks, Philip, Philippe.
I gotta pause for a second, folks out there. I gotta change the battery on my camera. Be right back.
Wait, some what?
No, we're not. Yeah.
A little bit of feedback.
Sandra.
The tip of the tongue, the lips, the teeth.
May the group outside the tent please return to the tent. Jesse, a good suggestion.
Go back on.
Andrew Young and company, please.
Return to the tent.
Attention, please.
Any open seats. So, we're back. I hope everyone enjoyed their main course. Notably, Notably, no one came to Ben to complain, so I figure that bodes well. Since the arugula bit played so well for us, we're coming back to the food wheelhouse. Just a quick call out to anyone who ordered the eggplant. You know what you've done. I hope you enjoyed it. That's it. That's all on eggplant. We'll move on from there. Until then, though, we are going to hear from a couple people who do know what they're doing. Most notably, my co-host this evening, Benjamin Stein, who's had the privilege of being the younger brother of our bride this evening. So he's going to take us away. Then we're going to get some other siblings up here, and then some parents up here. So, family of the bride and groom, you're up next. Enjoy.
I'm going to say a few words here. Actually, can I get the wireless mic? Thank you. Okay. So, now's the point. Okay, in front of the camera, I've been told. Now's the point in the way. I know. I have to own it. When the bride's pain in the ass younger brother gets to say a few words. Naturally, I can't let you guys get off scot-free, so here we are. Maya. Thank you.
Good job.
Good choice. Good choice.
Sorry about that, we're back. Maya, look at you. 29 years old. Already made quite the life for yourself. Master's degree, right? Masters of Science. One didn't know. Professional job. Married to this happy, strapping young man. Handsome, gleaming career ahead of you. And yet this is true. To this day, she still can't tell us the difference between a sweatshirt and a sweater. And for reference, this is a jacket. I'm completely unrelated. As some of you might know, Maya also has a certain giggly side to her, known to erupt in bouts of spontaneous hysterical laughter. And while I'm not one to give you advice about your career, your clients might not appreciate it if you erupt into a laughter during one of your sessions because you remembered that goofy cat video you saw last week on Instagram. And Phil will continue to be a great addition to this family, especially if you want someone to give you an hour-long lecture on how Hillary Clinton is actually the mastermind behind a secret underground human trafficking ring. And well, Phil, you must have realized by now that almost anything constitutes appropriate dinner table conversation at the Stein family dinner table. It's important to realize that most of us don't typically choose topics such as the core assumptions of neoliberalism to promote further discussion. Of course you were. We're talking about that. You've come a long way, Phil. You truly have. From the guy who was once too polite to order himself a proper meal at a restaurant out with the parents, for fear of ramping up the bill too much, to this behemoth who unapologetically scarfs down an entire flank steak in front of my parents. Greatly appreciated. But kidding aside, this is the sappy part of the speech for those who were not aware.
2 fingers.
Thank you, Leslie, for the... I'm overjoyed for both of you. Phil, when I met you over a decade ago, I clearly remember thinking, wow, I like this guy. See, Phil is the kind of guy to completely carry the team in a game of pickup beach volleyball, crushing the competition only to claim it was great teamwork and communication. We all know what really happened there, Phil. I've known you my entire adult life, and I can confidently say that I have the utmost respect and admiration for you and everything you bring to this family. You are as much a part of this family as any of us, and thank you so much for that. You bring my parents happiness. You bring me happiness, but most of all, you bring my sister happiness. And I look forward to sharing great beers in the future and talking shop about controversial topics. So, thank you, Phil, and I'm thrilled to call you my friend today, and I'm also thrilled to call you my brother-in-law. Maya, when I wrote this, I was having trouble finding the words for the more heartfelt, sappy portion of this section, and that's not because I didn't know what to say. It's because I actually didn't know where to start. All those things I said earlier are true. Maya is brilliant. She's beautiful. She has more empathy than anyone I've ever met. You're one of the most caring people in the world, and I'd be confident in saying that everyone in this room would back me on that statement. If the game of life was a contest, you've won first place. You are someone who has it all, and I truly admire that about you. And here you are, stepping forward into another fantastic chapter in your life. And all those great things about you that you've done in the past, they get to pay off today. Today we celebrate you. Today we celebrate Phil, and for being such wonderful people. So sit back, relax, enjoy the rest of the evening. It's all for you. To mine, Phil. All right, so up next, it's going to be the rest of the siblings. It's going to be Margot and Alex. Give them a warm welcome.
Testing? We'll share. Well, I just want to start off by asking, is everyone having a good time? Alright, so first off, I'm just going to say I'm sorry if I stutter, but in true Phil fashion, we only found out we were writing this speech a couple days ago. I'm Alex.
And I'm Margot. And we met little brother Phil 30 years ago when our parents brought him home. He weighed 8 pounds and was 5 feet long.
Now, we all had an amazing childhood together. Tons of family trips, game nights, and many basement wrestling matches. Now, usually, these wrestling matches would end with me dropping Phil right on his head and Margot and I running to him, whispering, "Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry."
Phil, everything has been amazing tonight and seemingly went off without a hitch, but we're not surprised.
Now, being the younger child, it seems like Phil was always trying to one-up the two of us. For instance, when I started collecting hockey cards, shortly after, just to show me up, Phil memorized every stat on every card and would gladly read it to anyone who would ask.
And growing up, I was really serious about playing ringette. But Phil became a pro volleyball player pretty much by chance. On one rainy day, his cross-country practice moved indoors. Phil ran through the gym, the coach took one look at him, and that was it, all-star. In fact, one year when we were both away at school, we came back for Christmas to find that Mom had turned an entire bulletin board into a shrine celebrating all of your volleyball accomplishments.
Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. Now, not only was Phil an outstanding athlete, but like others have mentioned here before, he's really smart too. We both went to a pretty respectable university, the University of Waterloo. I think we have a few graduates back here. But Phil felt the need to one-up us and decided to get his master's from Berkeley. There goes our inheritance.
Don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. But somewhere along the way, Maya came into Phil's life and quickly became part of the James clan. I knew Maya was the one for Phil when we were at one of Phil's volleyball games one day, and he won a volleyball for being player of the game and immediately threw it into a girl's hands in the stands. I looked over at Maya and said, "What the hell?" And she said to me, "What the hell would I do with a volleyball?"
Your devotion to each other is truly inspiring. High school sweethearts who went to different universities, then moved to California, back to Toronto, supporting each other's dreams and building a life together. And recently, we were happy to welcome our new beautiful cat niece, Elda. But honestly, we couldn't ask for a better brother and a new sister. We're both so proud of you both.
So if everyone could raise their glass, we'd like to end this with a toast to siblings. Okay? To the outside world, we all grow old, but not to brothers and sisters. We know each other as we always were.
We know each other's hearts. We share private family jokes. We remember family feuds, secrets, family griefs, and joys. We live outside the touch of time. Don't cry. Don't cry. Don't cry. Thank you, everybody.
That was fantastic. Up next, we have parents of the bride, my lovely uncle and aunt, Gary and Jackie. Come on up. And for Gary, we want you to stand right here, Gary. You gotta make sure you're on camera. Right here. No, Gary. Come on up. Yeah, right over here. Lens. Are you familiar with lenses?
I get it.
It's a microphone.
Yeah. Everyone's a comedian. Yeah. To Maya and Phil, to our family members, all our friends, everyone who's here today, everyone who's watching with love across the continent, welcome everyone to what really has been an incredible moment and an amazing day. Woo!
I'm going to be brief and a bit sappy because me delivering a good joke will not go well. Maya and Phil have a great love story, which of course we've all been talking about today. We knew back in May 2009, that Maya was starting to feel deeply for Phil. We could see that he was a bright, interesting, caring young man with lots of ambition. We could see how he was looking at our daughter, how he treated her with respect and maturity. At the age of 17, Maya knew he was someone very special. She was already falling in love. She said to me with tears in her eyes, "Mom, he's really special. But the only problem is that we've met too early in our lives." Forecasting that he could be the one. What to do when you're so young? How are they going to navigate a serious relationship? After that first wonderful summer of love, Phil went off to Western and they did the sensible thing and broke up. They wanted to give each other time to be unattached. However, it was not long before the letters started arriving, poetry on playing cards, and they were melting each other's hearts. The breakup was short-lived. Here we are, 12 years later, 4 degrees done, many adventures both together and apart, making a beautiful home together and joining our families together. Maya has learned to love volleyball, and she's a pretty good player. And Phil has learned to paddle a canoe and now shares Maya's love for camping. One of the things I love about watching Maya and Phil's relationship over the years is seeing how they support each other, encourage each other's individual development, and passions. They have truly been each other's cheerleaders. They have navigated the youthful start of their relationship and cultivated a wonderfully loving relationship. Maya's prediction came true. Thank you.
I'm going to add a few words. Some of you here remember our wedding when I went off script and leading the crowd literally to boo me off the stage. So I'm sticking to the notes.
In front of the camera, please.
Look to the camera, my son says. Stick to the notes, Gary. The coming together of our families, the Steins, the Lyons, the James, the Guévremont, all coming from very distinct Canadian cultures. All that love to laugh and make people laugh. It's just screaming out for jokes. The Newfies, the Franco-Ontarians, meet the Jews. It's brilliant. The partnership is an instant source of great new humor. So I love telling stories, but I'm actually terrible at telling jokes. So
Stay on script, Harry.
stay on script, stay on script. Don't cry. So a couple of Jews, a Newfoundlander, and a Franco-Ontarian walk into a bar. Stick with me on this. The bartender hears the accents, looks up at them, squints, and says, "What? Is this some kind of joke?" Get it? Get it? Thank you. It's a very meta thing. I know, it's not very funny. They can't all be gems. No, we're not going to boo me off the stage this time. I actually kind of stole that one. I actually found that one, really, on Google. But it's the best I could do. It's the best I could do. No, I'm not going back to explain to you, Ma. And you be quiet over there. It's the best I could do because even now, in the Google age, where nothing is new and everything is revealed in a split second, building the connection between Newfoundlanders, Franco-Ontarians, and the Jews is completely original. It's remarkable. To quote Lou Reed, it is the beginning of a great adventure. And it's our amazing daughter Maya and Denise and Blair's amazing son Phil who are starting it. Don't cry. Maya Rosie, our first child, the girl who made me into a dad. Maya, who at 3 had this favorite expression. See if this sounds familiar. You do it your way, I'll do it mine. Kind of the same at 29. Maya, whose swim teacher told her at 7, "You're a little fish." And it's true, because Maya told me many years later she felt more comfortable in the water than she did on land. Maya comes from and extends a very long line of strong, independent, outspoken Canadian and American women. On Jackie's side, your great-grandmothers, Mimi Montefiore, for whom you are named, and Mary Halovka. Your grandmother, Tina Lyons, who I'm sure is watching from New Jersey right now. And on my side, your great-grandmothers, Ray Stein, for whom you're also named, and Viola Zipporah Steinhaus, and your grandmother, Sandra Steinhaus. And, more importantly than anyone, your mom, Jackie. And you are surrounded, of course, by many, many close relatives who love you dearly. Phil joined our family many years ago. We knew Phil and Maya's relationship was going well when we came downstairs one morning and there was a pair of size 21 shoes blocking up the vestibule. It was a fire hazard. We couldn't get out the door.
That's a good joke.
And that joke was an ad-lib. Back to the script. Phil, the athlete you've heard about, who we quickly came to know as a man who is light on his feet, who moves with the gentle grace of a dancer, especially when coming downstairs in the morning. Phil, the guy I admired immediately because he beats everyone at Jeopardy. And most importantly, Phil, the romantic guy who, as Jackie said, stole Maya's heart with poetry. Maya and Phil, you have both been so lucky to grow up in a brilliant community of friends and family in the heart of Ottawa, to start your relationship in high school and on a high school road trip, to go on your first date at the 90-year-old Mayfair Theatre where you started your marriage tonight, to become regulars at Kettleman's Bagels, to flourish at Guelph and Western, to share Berkeley, California together, and now in Toronto's West End. And by your marriage, you have now officially transformed us into parents-in-law, and delightfully into a relationship with Blair and Denise. That actually the relationship between us and Blair and Denise has no real name in English, but it has a fitting and ancient name, it really does, in Yiddish. We have a direct connection to Blair and Denise that's known in Yiddish as... Exactly! If you didn't hear it, it's Machatunum. My mother got it wrong. Take the script. No problem. Machatunum is the relationship that we have directly to Blair and Denise. It's like we're co-in-laws. Okay, back to the script.
You got it.
Maya and Ben. Whoa, Maya and Phil. Sorry about that.
He's like a son.
Maya and Phil. This is going to be a toast, actually. So I want you to raise your glasses, please, with me. Maya and Phil. We love you immensely. I want you to join me in a toast to the bride and groom. May the path that you walk on together be full of great adventure, laughter, delight, great food, and love. And we all know that you'll walk on that for the rest of your lives. Thank you. Cheers and l'chaim, and on we go. Thank you very much. We are now grateful to bring Blair and Denise to the mic. You got it. You nailed it. We've been practicing.
Yeah, that was my mistake on the first one.
Great. I'm going to go to the glasses here. Okay. Well, good evening. I'm going to, following some of the younger crowd here this evening, I'm going to do the speech on my, who am I kidding? I don't have it on the iPhone. Well, hi everybody. It's great that everyone is here, albeit about 11 months later than anticipated. Needless to say, Denise and I are thrilled to have Maya officially join our family today, although she was unofficially a much-loved part of our family for many years now. Just ask her new nieces and nephews. Now, I started this speech this time last year, so bear with me, okay? Okay. When Denise and I got married, I was 29 years old. When Phil's older brother Alex got married, he was 29 years old. And when Phil and Maya were supposed to be married this time last year, Phil was 29 years old. So whatever point I intended to make this time last year about fate and symmetry and all that sort of stuff, well, that's all gone out the window because Phil turned 30, of course, this spring. So, in any case, the analogy didn't quite work anyway because Phil's sister Margot, she turned out to be a teenage bride. She got married at 17. Oh, sorry, that's 27. Sorry, I should have 27. Sorry. It's my new glasses. Anyway. But what I believe I wanted to say this time last year, and which still holds true today, is that no matter what their ages, the time had indeed come for this special couple to be married.
Okay. As many of you know, Maya and Phil have been a couple for over 10 years, 12 years, as we've heard many times tonight. We clearly remember meeting Maya for the first time. As many of you know, Blair and I like to sit on our front porch and watch the world go by. And we were doing just that one summer evening, more than 10 years ago, when a young lady sauntered up Grove Avenue and to our surprise turned up our walkway. She mounted the steps and confidently stuck out her hand and said, "Hi, I'm Maya. I'm here for Phil." To which I replied, "That's wonderful." We chatted for a few minutes, and then we rousted Phil from the house, and they went down Grove Avenue, and we looked at each other and said, "She's impressive." So thus started their journey together, which took them through, as you've heard already a few times, Western and Maya and Phil spending as much, Western for Phil and Guelph for Maya, always spending as much time together as possible, studying and working in different cities. Their commitment to each other was never in doubt, and support for each other's academic work and athletic ventures was remarkable. When their adventures took them to California, we were proud of how Phil handled the challenges of graduate school, thrilled how the two of them dove into the Berkeley lifestyle, and Maya holding down 3 jobs at one point, and both of them taking whatever opportunity possible to explore that beautiful part of the world. When they came back to Canada, it was a role reversal, with Maya going to graduate school and Phil going to the workforce. But again, their commitment and their support to making each other, making it work and making sacrifices was very special. And finally, when their studies came to an end with Phil conspired with their old Berkeley housemate Jen, who you would have loved to be here today, I'm sure, to pop the question to Maya on Miami Beach. To which Maya, and I dare say quite a few friends and family, responded with a resounding yes.
Now, Maya's family have been a delight to get to know over the years, and we've shared many visits and meals with Jackie and Gary and Ben. And other than when they tried to kill me this past winter when they took me on a very difficult cross-country ski trail, we have thoroughly enjoyed each other's company while watching our children grow into the remarkable adults and a loving couple. So Phil, you have always been a guy with passions. Early on, hockey cards, then toy cars, on to geography, followed by roller coasters, and of course, sports of any kind. You never did anything half-heartedly, and while your academic achievements and your athletic prowess have always been a source of pride for us, your greatest achievement has undoubtedly been to find a life partner so perfectly suited to you. It's truly rewarding to see that Maya is your greatest passion now in life. We could not be happier. Well done, son. Maya, we're reminded of when you were applying to graduate school and you were worried, needlessly, I might say, that you would not get accepted anywhere. And what Denise and I kept saying to ourselves was that all she needed was to get an interview, because anyone who meets her and talks with her would find her very impressive. And we should know, because it happened to us on our front porch all those years ago. Welcome to the family, Maya, and congratulations to them.
Another round of applause just for parents and siblings. Fantastic people. I will let the hugs subside, but we will be joined shortly by Phil and Maya, their first address as a married couple. The ceremonial address. Stick to the script.
Yeah, sure.
We're out of camera. Thanks, Obi and Ben. Yeah. Thanks to the parents. We have gotten married during a pandemic! The rest of the speech is 2 fingers, trust me. It's not the past few months have been interesting. Maya and I have had the privilege of entering one of the largest self-imposed lockdowns in modern history, which is not a bad way to get ready for marriage. In all seriousness, this would be the time of the wedding when we'd mention the people that we couldn't do it without. But the truth is, seeing so many of you here for the first time in months, in years, and forever really, it's just a bit of a reminder that we can hardly pull life off without the people who help. The people who are there for us, the people who gave us words of encouragement, when literally absolutely none of this made sense. 2 weeks ago, we were supposed to only have 25 people here, so we're very grateful for that.
We're also thinking about the people who couldn't make it tonight, the people who are joining us via live stream, or just the people who are thinking about us tonight. To my American family, the closed border has been a difficult separation this past year. My Yaya for her love. I want to thank my Yaya for her love and patience, and jewels for me to wear today, and my Beep Beep who imparted his strong will and love of swimming. And to all my aunts and uncles and cousins scattered down the East Coast, we really wish that they could have been here today. To the camping families, the people who snuck in at the last minute, thank you, Stage 3. We've spent countless summers with this family. And they've been so welcoming to Phil, and especially when they can see how well he carries the heavy food barrel.
We love you, Phil! And to our Newfoundlander and French-Canadian families, not just a joke. Really, weddings are really one of the rare moments when we can come together after years apart. So for those who are catching the live stream, we just have a lot of gratitude, but we hope soon enough that we can rejoin each other for more weddings and more merriment. And this is not for people in the crowd, but for some people who can't make it. My friend Greg, give a round of applause because he had his first child on Thursday, Oliver. Of course, to my grandmother, who couldn't make it from Newfoundland, and to a Miss Dearly. She's someone who really exemplifies gratitude and being grounded, but most importantly, valuing the sensible people in our lives and the people who anchor us in time of need. So it's obvious that that's the reason I chose Maya. To Steve and Emily, who couldn't make it here tonight, the brother and sister-in-law. They've really given both of you so much love, and they've given you family, and they've given you adventure, and the kids have given us so much joy too. But we're really happy you guys can make it, truly. And to our old roommate Jen, who my parents mentioned, who really brought us together at a time in our life when we were really homesick in Berkeley, thousands of miles away. She was really great, and if she's watching the live stream, we are going to brag about her just briefly. I know a couple of months ago, she was working on a project at the Tampa Bay Times, and it got picked for the Pulitzer Prize for Best Local Reporting. And we're so proud of her. So I hope she saw it. So it goes without saying that Stein energy is really something else. It's a natural phenomenon, kind of like a freak weather pattern or electrical storm. But if that energy were transferred into a family reunion or a Hanukkah party. But really the Steins have helped me open up, really be confident with myself, and most importantly of all, have taught me that you can enter into a heated argument about the most mundane thing possible in the world and still fight to the death for what you believe in. I also have a lot of gratitude for the Lions and Maya's American relatives, a lot of whom couldn't be here tonight. So much of the joy and ease of living I get from Maya, I get from them as well. They've always made me feel welcome, heard, and part of the family. It's really something that a great big American family. It's really something that a great big American family welcomed a tall, awkward Canadian like they have. And again, to the cousins and to the family who were able to make it at the last minute. Again, it really means a lot. Your presence here is a sign of optimism, and perhaps a sign we won't need to have our future weddings in hazmat suits. Also, a shout out to my Ottawa fam, all of you who get together every Christmas. I really can't wait to get back together. It really means a lot. Maya?
So to the bridesmaids, thank you for holding me together today. So, as it's been mentioned many times, Phil and I met in high school, and Kat was there in Stratford on that fateful trip that brought Phil and I together. And maybe she was annoyed that I didn't sit next to her on the bus ride home. But I think I've made the case that the guy I chose to sit next to was well worth it. Thank you for flying out from the West Coast to be with us today. And Samantha and I became friends at Guelph, both sharing a love of stage managing, being in the people in the background, pulling all the strings and having all of the control. Thank you for letting me let go of that control today. You speak your mind, and my favorite memories of Guelph are either hosted in your downtown apartment or sharing drinks and onion rings late night at Baker Street. You and Julia and I voraciously gossiping and laughing about the latest happenings of the week in our theater program. Julia, who I also met at Guelph, also at Baker Street, voraciously gossiping. She was actually the person who introduced Sam and I, stealing her away from the first person who they were all together with. And she was the cool girl in my tech class who built a mean set on the weirdest play that we were ever a part of, probably topped only by the play that Samantha was in next, and she can tell you about that later. So thank you for making sure that everything went smoothly, and thank you for making sure that we have lights today. Leslie, thank you for helping me get here today. Big toast to Leslie. She's held me together on like a hope and a prayer these last couple months. She's also the reason we have enough to drink tonight. So, another toast. Leslie has been the sister that I never had. I can't pick out many childhood memories that don't feature Leslie. Whether it's late night sleepovers, make-believe pioneers in my parents' backyard. Or learning to stern a canoe together. You have been such an important part of my life. We grew up in Old Ottawa South together, and while we've grown into different people, the foundation of our childhood has been rock solid, and it has meant the world to me that I've been able to see you so often in Toronto. Now we've traded the homemade potions for great wine, and rummaging through my mom's makeup cabinet to a great sense of style. The meaning is still the same.
So shout out to the guys too. So these guys can talk your head off about things that not only you've never heard about, but also things you never really want to hear about again. Most guys like me have buddies or bros or whatever, but I happen to be blessed to have a hive mind of mad super geniuses at my side, including Marcus. If you really want to understand who Marcus is, one time I asked him to bring me home a souvenir from Europe when he went on a trip there. And when he returned, rather than getting me some stupid knickknack, he told me that he donated money in my name to the ETA Basque separatist movement in Spain. And he got me a Live Strong bracelet supporting the cause. Marcus, you're the type of friend who'll put me on a terrorist watch list without even asking. Thank you. But seriously, it's been truly remarkable seeing you turn your love of music into something that people around the world really appreciate. 7.6 on Pitchfork. Yes, Marcus's album got reviewed on Pitchfork yesterday, and it rated higher than John Mayer's and the Foo Fighters that were released at the same time. So please give him a round of applause. So I didn't want to embarrass you, but Pat. It's been so great having you here and having you made your way all the way from Vancouver. One of the last times I saw Pat, he was running on barely any sleep because he had spent something like 15 hours designing celluloid cutouts for a theater production done entirely on those old school green projectors you have at primary schools. I remember laughing to myself about the level of dedication you were doing to something that almost seemed extraneous. But then I saw the play, and it was seriously one of the best pieces of theater I've ever seen. I really mean that. And I think it really speaks volumes to who you are. You have the courage to ask the questions no one wants to ask, and you dare to make art no one else is willing to make. And I truly appreciate that. And Nat. Also, let's give a round of applause for the speech Nat gave during the ceremony. That was very beautiful. Okay, we're getting through it. The only way I can really describe you is that you're like a Maoist Dos Equis man. The most interesting man in the People's Republic. But really, those who know really understand that you're really beyond any form of description. I mean, one minute you were doing stand-up at a socialist cafe by doing dramatic readings of erotic fan fiction, and then the next you were a husband and father of two, with another along the way. Seeing who you've become as a father, though, not just as a role model, but someone who creates like a beautiful world for his children, really means something to me. And I remember the last time I was at your place, you showed me Frankie's room, and he had all these drawings scribbled all over the floor and on the wall, and yeah, I really knew that he was your son. It was really beautiful. And Seb, let's have a toast to the best man, please. You're my best man. You're my best man, the best man, and my best friend. There was a time when I was the shyest kid in the room, and probably the last one you'd expect to really come out of his shell. But back when we were about 9 or 10, Seb was the first person to introduce me to the magic of conversation, to questioning things, to really interrogating why we're here in the first place. Fortunately, I think Seb was a gateway drug to becoming an arts major. You're a legend, though. I remember when you were like 14 years old, and you wrote some of the best written songs, like truly I've ever heard. like stuff that like Tom York couldn't even write. And I don't think any of us who like I think that all of you who know you know how good they were, and I'm pretty sure that all of us who know them can probably still sing most of those songs. You really were the soundtrack of my teenage years, and you brought people together with your music. And you taught me what it means to be a real artist and creator, and you've really taught me how to be true to myself. You meet plenty of people who might become good pals, beer buddies, whatever, but only once or twice in a lifetime will you truly meet people who will get you out of your shell and give you the courage to be a better version of yourself. And I'm so happy the two of them are here today. Really couldn't have done it without you guys. Thanks.
Finally, we want to give a shout out to our families for supporting us the whole way and for being with us through all of the countless plans that have gone into today. Thank you for my family who have had plans from A to Z for being here to make it here today. For my family in Toronto who have become our surrogate parents, who have fed us and made sure that we always take home leftovers. Thank you to my grandma who is here today. I also have a grandma on live stream. But my grandma, who is one of the strongest women I know, who always speaks her mind and wears whatever she wants and lives life to the fullest. Thank you to my brother for brewing us beer tonight. For the late night marathon post Quebec City, driving to make sure the beer was ready for tonight. Thank you for making sure tonight was not only supplied with drinks, but also for keeping the party going. Thank you to you and Toby for being the best MCs we could have hoped for. A round of applause for our MCs. Thank you to Blair and Denise, Margot and Alex for welcoming me so easily into your family. It has meant the world to me to know that just across Bank Street, I have another home I fit into so easily. From welcoming me into your Christmas traditions to calling me Aunt Maya, I have felt so incredibly loved by your family that today feels like just a formality, and I have felt like a part of your family for many years. To my parents, thank you for being such wonderful role models in marriage, in partnership, and in parenting. When I was younger, I didn't realize how lucky I was to have had parents who trusted and respected me to make good choices for myself. As I've gotten older, I've realized that not everyone is as fortunate as me to have parents like you. You have made me a strong and confident woman who was able to leave home, to travel across the continent, because I always knew I could come back home to you if I needed anything. Thank you for getting us across the finish line this week, and thank you endlessly for everything.
Final stretch. To the beautiful Sandra, to be able to enjoy this day with you means so much to me. So it's actually status.
Oh, is it? I already said Sandra.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Say it anyways.
To be able to enjoy this day with you means so much to me. You've always been more than just a mother and a grandfather, overseeing the incorrigibly rambunctious Steins.
Grandmother.
What did I say?
Grandfather.
Start back. Stick
Yeah, I'm almost done. The same free-spirited joie de vivre I love about Maya is an inherent part of your being. You've been a friend, a grandmother, an art dealer, and even an occasional purveyor of fine Caribbean herbs. And for that, I thank you. For my sister Margot, who still showed up this weekend despite writing her MBA and having 2 high-energy kids to deal with at home. We really miss you, Steve and the kids. And before COVID, being able to travel up to Hamilton connected us to family when we only had each other in Toronto. To my brother Alex, who despite being swamped with work and 2 kids himself, took time out of his day to help set up and monitor the live streaming so that our friends and relatives could see the event from afar. Thank you. And the way that you and Margot welcomed Maya into our family has really been something special that we miss so much. We're so excited to officially become Aunt Maya and Uncle Phil to the nieces and nephews. To my parents, Blair and Denise, for being so supportive the whole way and for helping us get married in such unusual circumstances. I have so much gratitude for the way that you've always made Maya feel welcome, even if that meant asking Maya about 100 times if she ate bacon or not. She does, by the way. And for both of you to have brought the Huppa Poles for us tonight shows to me how you've worked to forge a bond between both of our families. Can't wait for you to be able to travel the world again, to keep on discovering new things to do, to cook, and to learn. To Maya's parents, the inimitable Gary and Jackie, thank you so much for your support in planning this wedding. From the moment I walked into your front door, you've treated me like family and made the space to be friends, teachers, parents. Jackie, thanks for listening. Last page. For always being authentic, and thanks for being the one who always checked in on me when my concussion was at its worst. And thanks for introducing me to the most delicious flank steak I've ever had. And to Gary, for leading by example, for teaching me the rare talent of becoming lifelong friends with strangers. I really strive to live life with the same vim and vigor you bring to everything, and to really indulge as eagerly into every hobby, every adventure, and really every moment as much as you do. And for what it's worth, it's because of both of you that on the first Friday back from our honeymoon, we will be lighting the candles, buttering the challah, and holding hands in song to usher in the Sabbath. Thank you.
Wow. That's some good stuff, guys. We did it. We made it. All right, so before the next section of the wedding, we're just going to have a little bit more entertainment, so sit back, relax. The one final note I want to say is there's still beer in that fridge, and legally you guys can't leave here until it's all gone, so I'm sure you can make quick work of that. The night is still young, so drink up.
School